What on earth is going on? This is an expat alert, see, because the Federal Aviation Agency has put out a nationwide alert through also the State Department to countries like Mexico, Panama, Brazil, some of the most popular destinations for American citizens, whether they reside in Florida, Texas, Ohio, New York, California. People love going to South America. But according to the Federal Aviation Agency, there's an issue right now. If you take a flight to South America, allegedly, according to them, they are saying that they are giving you an urgent flight alert because cartels may just strike you out of the sky, going there or coming back to America. They may just attack you on the ground, but it's interesting that it's specifically the Aviation Administration Agency because they're really talking about flights that are in the air, unless they assume that Mexico or Panama or Brazil's governments would just shoot down tourist aircrafts from coming into these countries. But this is an alert that you want to pay attention to. Obviously, following what happened with President Donald Trump and the U.S. military in Venezuela. I mean, unfortunately, it was just very, I don't know if you saw the video. We watched the video on how the U.S. invaded Venezuela. And guys, let me tell you, it was a little scary. It was a little like, I think America took it too far with that one. The way that technology came in there to President Maduro, if I'm saying his name properly, and kind of froze everybody around them. Somebody said in the comments they saw the documentary as well. And some Venezuelans even say that it was weird that those people were frozen before the American military even came in. Understand, the American technology is insanely advanced. And so these nations, I guess, are retaliating against tourists, I'm guessing.
Yeah, that's something that we always speak about is we really never had an attack on U.S. soil. Besides, like, 9/11, if you do your research on that, that's a whole rabbit hole, whatever. But the thing with other countries taking Americans hostages or taking, I should say hijacking planes, that's something to really think about, especially what's going on with, the U.S. president, the orange man, they say now, little finger Donald Trump.
That's what they call him in Greenland.
It's crazy. Like everybody's starting to turn against America. And with this is serious. This is a federal alert, right? This is something that's like, okay, you might want to listen. They say do not fly to South America. Do not fly to places like Panama and stuff because
Brazil,
that's close,
Mexico.
That's close to Venezuela. That's close to where Donald Trump is trying to focus his energy on. So it's like, that's something to think about. You got to listen to it because you know us. We always talk about flights. And this is the federal, what is it?
The Federal Aviation Agency.
Yes.
Put out this alert, the FAA. And if you want to fact check, go right ahead, my friend. Bring up the facts, check the facts, bring the facts, because what they're going to tell you is that this alert is going also not just to Mexico and Panama, but Central America as well. Central America, between Mexico, Venezuela, Panama, all those nations in there, even some of the other Caribbean countries. They are saying exercise increased caution, and they publish multiple NOTAMs urging U.S. carriers and pilots, you had better be careful when you're flying in that region because you might have to dodge a missile. You might have to dodge cartel bullets. You might have to dodge whatever the Federal Aviation Administration / agency is saying. And some Americans and expats will be like, well, that's not real. But we're the type, we don't want to risk it. We don't want to risk going to Colombia to find out if we're going to get shot down from the sky. We don't want to risk going to Brazil to find out if we're going to get shot down from the sky. Nobody has time for that. And so You as an expat, as an American, it's wise to go to neutral territory. But right now, South America does not have much neutral territory except Panama, but it's also risky going to Panama unless you're already there. So the better bet may be to head to the other side of the global south, like sub-Saharan Africa or Asia. It's easy to travel within some of these areas if you pick the right region. And that's something we break down for 4 entire weeks in the Mature Adult Intensive. We are on the last week of cohort 4, moving into cohort 5, but there's only 3 slots left. And so if you're like, I'm exhausted trying to figure this out, I don't know which VPN to get, I don't know how to handle tech, finance, moving, flights, healthcare, eSIM cards, figuring out the logistics, figuring out, do I get a power of attorney? If you're like hearing this and you're like, yes, I need your help, visit www.journeywithusmovetoafrica.com/services.
Yes, with that being said, the Mature Adult Intensive is more than just the logistics. It's about the community, because we have people all over the world. Even someone that had residency in Panama, even someone that had residency in Mexico, even someone that had residency in Brazil and the Philippines are starting to choose, or starting to really understand and realize that you have to choose the right country, because these things does happen. And if you don't move wise, you know, it's more about a community where someone was in Panama can share their experience. Someone that's in Brazil and really bought houses and lived in Brazil. Yeah. And in Belize. You get what I'm saying? Yeah. And they can share their experience too. So it's like, wow, the Mature Adult Intensive is more than what we are talking about. It's more about the community too. So if you want to check that out, the links will be in the description.
Yes, but listen, there's even more to this, because I want to read from AP News so that we can get a good source together here. Hit the like button, share with 15 people, especially people that love Mexico and Brazil and Panama and other islands in Central America near, Trinidad and Curacao and all of those different nations. All of these guys are in Central America. Now, according to the warnings, these regions may be subject to potential military activity and systems interference. These could pose risks at all phases of flights, including overflights, takeoffs, and landings. The FAA's advisories remain in effect through at least March 17th. Who knows what the heck is going to be happening on planet Earth by March 17th? It's only been a couple of weeks into 2026.
That's pretty much,
And get this. This is dealing notably with Mexico's Pacific airspace and the Mazatlan Oceanic FIR, Central America and Panama FIRs, and portions of the Eastern Pacific and South American airspace. Although the FAA has not publicly named specific threats, the agency's emphasis on military activity and potential GPS interference signals concern over unpredictable aircraft movements, degraded situational awareness, which can make normal flight operations even more hazardous.
Yeah, guys, look, this reminds me of what happened last year with the technical issues when the planes was crashing into helicopters, and they saying it wasn't on the radar and this and that. Like, these things can happen. And for us regular people, we don't know the system behind that. Only the people that's sitting behind the chair that does this for years at a time will know this. So these are the people that's telling people, be aware. Do not alert.
That's scary.
You gotta really take this into consideration. This is being said. It's not been hid like before. This is actually being said. So you gotta listen. You have to listen.
Yeah, and it's plausible in the context, because we know what President Donald Trump and the U.S. military did to Venezuela. And if you're not looking at it and empathizing with the people who are impacted and really understanding the situational nuance that was occurring with the way that they were able to use technology, then you would understand why these people are so angry at Americans, which again is why you want to go to the global south, where these things are not as much as of an issue as it is in the Northern Hemisphere and the Americas, okay? Now, here's what you need to watch out for. I'm gonna give you about 3 different points, and then let's run some quick scenarios together. You all know that we love running scenarios with you so that you can understand what's actually happening here.
Yeah,
now,
guys.
get this. I'm sorry, you wanna go?
Yeah, we're not in Florida right now. So we know it's snowing in Florida right now. It is pretty hot here where we are. So sorry about the background noise. We had to turn this fan on. I'm over here sweating.
Risk assessment is shifting. You know what? This signals the fact that geopolitical analysis is now a measurement that people are taking, or that the FAA is taking when they're considering taking off, grounding flights, going to destinations, doing reroutes. So you're going to see the price of airplane tickets drastically soar in 2026, not just for this reason, but also because of the oil and trade wars. I'm telling you, if you are not outside of America, you may want to hype up that plan, accelerate it, do what you gotta do to whatever you gotta do to accelerate that plan. Because just like the price of gold and silver have been rapidly increasing, the cost for you to board a flight and the safety for you to board a flight is going to be rapidly increasing as well. These are unprecedented times, as we always tell you. The people who wait too late are going to be stuck. I can guarantee you that, because can you just imagine right now, like really empathize. If you're an expat in Mexico and you're like feeling these tensions, and you know Mexico has cartels, and you're like, this is crazy, because we personally have never been to a nation that has cartels besides America. Okay? The stuff that they have in North and South America is just insanity, to be quite honest with you. But again, this also impacts potential for delays in rerouting. So my points 2 and 3 are the delays and reroutings that are occurring. Again, this is going to cost you more. Number 3 is insurance, because the insurance is going to go up. You don't really understand the full context behind what it takes to run an aviation craft or to run an airplane. They need to have insurance. There are certain checks that they have to have. There's certain things they have to have properly squared away that may not be properly squared away anymore, which actually deters them from being able to get you safely to your destination, or even being able to fly across one airspace to another, because airspaces are technically country, kingdom territory, depending on the area that you're in.
Yeah, you gotta realize what was happening, I'd say like a couple months ago, maybe like 2-3 months ago, with the government shutdown, right? They were not properly maintaining the flights and, regularly checking certain things. So all of this is like, is getting like, it doesn't make sense. You really gotta move wise. Like, if you're gonna do this move, if you're gonna travel, you gotta do it sooner than later. It's not time to, think that things are gonna get better, or it's gonna be a window. It might be, all praises, the Most High will allow that to happen for you, but everything's starting to add up in a way where it's like, dang, I do remember that. Dang, they weren't properly doing certain things to planes, especially like the insurance that she was just talking about.
Yeah. Those
insurance companies love like flights and planes and private jets and stuff like that. It's like, everything's just adding up and getting down to what they really want. They just want everyone to be where they are, stuck. And that's if that's what you want to do, that's okay. But for the people that is wanting to travel and move, the time is now. The time is really now.
Yeah, because there are a couple scenarios that can actually happen here, to be quite honest with you. Scenario A is this just continues until March 17th, 2026. They reroute a couple flights, have a couple of cancellations. Maybe pilots begin to go on strike if they're kind of like, I don't know how safe this actually is. But scenario B is that they decide that flights have to increase because the fuel prices spike up. Then the worst case scenario, scenario C, is in fact that policy shifts entirely. Because if military activity increases or incidents involving civil aviation occur, this can deal with government regulatory bodies, which may issue further restrictions, including temporary airspace closures or expanded NOTAMs that directly affect scheduled flights. So that's all for this video. Shalom, shalom. Check out the link in the description. Visit www.journeywithusmovetoafrica.com/services. If you are like, I don't have time to be anywhere else on earth, if you want to figure out digital nomad residence pathways, retirement residence pathways, logistics behind what you can do while you're in America so that you don't have to fly back and forth between these aerospace closure areas and places where you can quite frankly just drop out of the sky. That's the way the Federal Aviation Agency thinks it's going to go down for some of these territories. So
yeah, thanks for tuning in, guys. Make sure you like the video, leave your comments below, and we'll talk to you next one. Shalom.
Shalom.